I'm good to go.
Okay, we are live. All right. Good evening, everybody. It is Monday, June 29th, the year 2020, and it is. Um, and are we getting a video? I'm just getting. Okay, there we go. Oh, okay. We have three viewers. It looks like tonight. Now it's two. All right. Well, we'll figure it out.
Probably
In any
just
case,
it's probably us cloning at each other and like
yeah, I know
watching
it's all
whatever.
robots. It's robots.
Hi, hi, fellow viewers.
If you're out there. Um, but in any case, it's June 29th. It's 9:30 p.m. on the East Coast, 6:30 p.m. on the West Coast, and it is your time for your weekly Calamity Jane Adventure Hour live stream. James, how you doing?
I am doing great. How are you doing?
I am doing well. I finished off a couple of really major projects over the weekend, and I'm actually suffering from anxiety because I don't have anything to do right now, and my brain is going, shouldn't you be doing something? And so I'm like,
Well,
oh my god, what am I supposed to be doing?
well, here you are. This
And
is part of how you're gonna start your week
here
off
I
is hanging out with me.
That's right. They say if you have anxiety about being chased by a tiger, go for a run. And
Oh
and so that's what I'm doing. I'm doing something.
my gosh, Tiger. Why does that have to be so? I don't know, scary.
Oh, we could
Gee,
go into the philosophy of it if
oh
you
my gosh.
want, but just save it. That's the season two episode, so just I don't want to give away too much of it. So,
Well,
that was
so one thing I
awful.
like to do, I mean, kind of using your whole anxiety thing. One thing that helps me with my anxiety, and this is also an idea I kind of came up with last week, was you just help yourself in a little glass of whiskey.
Yeah,
You know,
I
little
don't
thing.
where is my alcohol right now? I don't
That's
have anything. I'm being far too accidentally responsible as an adult.
well, I mean, for me, it takes a little bit of the edge off. But
Yeah.
what is last week, uh, I we had we know during a stream I brought up having Fat Tire as some beer that I was
Mm-hmm.
drinking. So
Mm-hmm.
this week I thought, I'm going to keep the theme up and kind of do something sort of. It's not really new, but I want to kind of I sort of want to take some credit for us
Okay.
by saying these are most recent non-sponsored item that's on our show today. Uh, whiskey
Whiskey,
from
just whiskey.
whiskey from Costco brand Kirkland
Ooh.
Best Whiskey. It's not is a non-sponsorship. We don't condone this at all, and they don't condone us or whatever.
No one is
And that's
paying
what
us
I'm
right
using today.
now.
That's our
That's
product
right.
placement. Our non-product placement tonight is a little bit of whiskey before we start. So I think it's a great has medicinal value for you for anxiety. So I wanted to kind of
Yeah.
throw that at you as we
I
start today's
I feel like we
little.
need an adult present, or maybe not an adult. I don't know. I feel like we've gotten on the rails, off the rails. So why don't we leap in here, both
All
feet
right.
forward into the topic for the evening.
Okay, let me go to my present thing and then we'll go from there. Present your entire screen. Sure. There you are again, double faced. Good. And we are good to go. Let me know when you can see.
I can see myself.
Great. All right. So when we last left our episode last week, we were talking about the Warhog scene with the After Effects and using Flash.
Mm-hmm.
So for today, I'm kind of picking. I want to kind of sort of pick up on that again a little bit.
Okay.
And kind of here's our animatic that we've been kind of working on for the past little while. It's all this is Act Three. This particular scene. I'm going to play it through and then we can discuss it a little bit.
Okay.
But this in this scene, Clem. Well, okay. As my partner here, we're going to talk about Act Three. Is this officially public knowledge?
I was just thinking that I'm actually gonna go to the Patreon site real quick while we're just chatting it up.
Yeah, just to make sure we don't want to give anything
And
away.
look at let's see here. Um, oh brother. So how you been doing?
Me?
Yeah, while I
Doing
type in
great. There's nobody
passwords.
else here, I guess. But yeah, I'm doing just fine. I can't complain. I've been this whole weekend. I've been kind of looking into more lighting stuff that we'll talk about today
Mm-hmm.
with After Effects. There's one thing that you kind of talked about yesterday that you were worried about for me, which was handling a whole bunch of warhogs all at the same time and lighting them. So this is what kind of was leading me towards this upcoming shot that I want to talk about
Mm-hmm.
and how I found a recipe of how I'll probably handle it in After Effects. But I don't know. I don't know whether I want to. Well, we already kind of did talk about the shot last week,
Mm-hmm.
so there's a part of me that maybe. But I mean, I could probably jump to that section.
So
In
I'm gonna tell you that I'm not gonna tell you not to post this, but
hmm
even the frames that you are showing right now are new reveal. We've not
That's true.
ever shared Act 3, the animatic, for anybody to this point. So this is our
This is all
this is
secret
all
news
brand.
stuff.
This is all secret. No one has seen this before.
Oh, this is all the clubhouse stuff. Okay, well, there you go. Other mystery viewers that are probably us. We're gonna do a couple of scenes here real quick.
All
I might
right.
as well.
Okay.
We've already committed.
I'm fine. All right. Now that
Yeah.
we got that established and everybody is aware of it.
All right. So in this particular scene, we're gonna play through a little bit. Okay, she drives off towards. There we go. Right here. This is the scene I'm working on right now. Really, essentially,
Mm-hmm.
so there's this, then this, and it builds up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So there's pretty much two shots here that are using a lot of the same assets and content, which is how I set up the file here today. Now, this is the version of it in Flash. Now, obviously, already, I feel like there's some color competition kind of going on right now. But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
with all that being said, I'm still going to try to replicate a little bit just for fun. Um, Try to get some of this stuff to sort of, I mean, just kind of do a general blocking of how I want this to look. And I won't go too crazy with this, but it'll look something, something along the lines of this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, okay, we have a whole bunch of them. So again, some of them are going to be smaller, some of them taller. So it'll look something like that. But with all that being said, I also wanted to set this up in After Effects. So I have this shot also in After Effects, but with lighting. Now you can see here, I have one of the Warhawks here. I've already kind of set up a lighting, the kind of the same lighting system we had last week. Now I have only one Warhawk here in this After Effects file, but I can just, well, there's a couple of things I've done. I've made, I don't know if you can see this, Eric, but if you see on the top layer, I have a null.
Yeah, I see the null.
The null actually has my lighting set up in this null
There it
object.
is. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think I know what this does. All right.
Yeah, you know where I'm going to go with this.
I
So
think
what
I
I've done,
do.
yeah, I have copied. So once I set up everything to be set up, somewhat right in my null object,
Mm-hmm.
I copied it into my Warhog
Mm-hmm.
and I have the effects all kind of dialed in here in
Mm-hmm.
the Warhog. Once I control it down,
Mm-hmm.
just borrowing everything from the null object to here.
Mm-hmm.
So if I wanted to, for example, make another one, now we have another Warhog here and another one, and let's just move them around a little bit. There's one there, and another one there. They all have different lighting. They all have that same kind of respect for lighting now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They both kind of all have the highlights. I know it was kind of subtle stuff we were talking about last week, but um, they all have their own kind of lighting now. And on top of that, now if I wanted to play with any kind of setting, I just have to change the null object setting here. Like, for
Mm-hmm.
example, width. I don't know if we can see a difference or not. I may not show it there, but let's try sweep intensity. There we go. Now all of them will be affected by that same light source. And I don't have to go through and fiddle with each Warhog. So I can make a whole bunch of different Warhogs all in that same spot and actually play with the syncing a little bit. Let's go right here. So that one's on that frame. This guy's on that frame. And there we go.
Mm-hmm.
So we do have that now as a tool to use for compositing.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I've got right now. Yeah, so there we go. So I'm not sure how much you can see in playback as I play
No,
that.
it's coming through pretty decently. I think it's dropping a few of the in-between frames.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you get a really strong sense of it. I mean, it works great. I mean, like that's awesome. Like just being able to reference the null object and then all of the copies of the warhog just inherit from its parameters. I mean, that's great. What an elegant, simple solution. That way you can control a single light source. Hell, you can have multiple light sources in different null objects and then apply
Yep.
those as necessary.
Yeah. Now the question though is okay, so we have this now. Obviously, this is rendering a little bit differently, like in After Effects. I'm not sure how much like the colors look like they're pretty sharp in the background. This looks pixelated, but they won't be in the final render.
When you actually
Obviously,
render, yeah.
yeah, because it's all just kind of trying to keep up with on the GPU, the graphics processing unit, to kind of render something for me. But my only dilemma and or well question to myself that I'm posing
Mm-hmm.
is they do kind of stand out a little bit, but I gotta play with the desert colors a little bit more. I feel like I'm having a little bit of a battle with that, and obviously this is something I kind of set up because I wanted to have different layers of desert color in there. I wanted to avoid gradients. I wanted to use color as a way of forcing a gradient by going kind of dark to light, as you can see here a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, but I wanted to get I wanted to, as an audience member, as somebody who's viewing this, give me your thoughts. Does it work for you? Is this working for you?
So here are my two thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the browns in the desert are definitely causing conflict with the warhogs to a
Uh-huh.
certain extent. They are getting lost in the background a little bit.
Yep.
And also just maybe I need to see the background moving a little bit, but
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
now it feels because of the sedimentary or the segmenting rather, it looks like
Mm-hmm.
a sedimentary layer, so it almost looks vertical as opposed to off into the horizon. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Now, what I could do here, bear with me.
Mm-hmm.
We can do that fit. We could do something. We can kind of do a cheat for that right now. Let me just try that real quick. This That's the beauty of Flash, and I mean After Effects I could probably do that too, but I'm much more comfortable in Flash doing this
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
than After Effects. So we'll do it here first. But let's do a panning background. Go like that. Now, obviously that mountain's broken, but who cares about that?
Well, for the time being, I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do BG, make that a symbol. And we will pan it to that. Now these guys are all synced together, but I will change that up. All right, now let's check this out. So
Yeah, I mean that helps just immediately. Having a little bit of that parallax gives you a sense that it's a horizon line rather than the side of a mesa or something along those lines. I think if you have the the cycles to burn, frankly, adding like a cactus or a tumbleweed
yeah,
or a rock that's somewhere
sure,
in the background, and you can just do some
sure.
sort of like a forced perspective, and then have that scroll along at a faster speed to really, really emphasize the parallaxing.
Yeah, the intention is I'm going to have like this mountain range is going to go slower,
Mm-hmm,
uh,
mm-hmm,
but I
mm-hmm.
mean putting a cactus in there is not a problem. I mean, and that we can have those kind of go slower too.
Right,
Uh,
yeah, and then depending on what your plane is, their
yeah,
scale will differ, and the speed that they go across the screen will be different.
yeah. So I mean, we could easily do that. But yeah, I think adding the movement to it does help a little bit.
Yeah, that makes a huge difference actually. Just even in that basic level. I'm still struggling a little bit with the oranges and the browns fighting with the browns of the warhogs, but I'm
Yeah,
wondering if adding a little bit of that edge lighting around the warhogs and After Effects will help alleviate that because it'll provide that contrast.
yeah, and so that's what's kind of making me lean more towards maybe we will do lighting, um, to to our as we go forward. But that means I also kind of want to do a treatment to the background even more and add a little bit more to the background too. But I'm not sure yet because once the whole point was I wanted to avoid gradients like this,
Mm-hmm.
but they do help pop like because the challenge with the design is everything's flat, so
Right.
everything kind of yeah it didn't. And that's a particular look. There's nothing wrong with that look, but a part of me, for some reason in my head, I'm wanting to kind of help add some dimensionality and some layering to each scene.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the desert being this orange and browns, the thing is no matter what we do, like for example, if I put Calamity Jane on this background, she'll pop on this because
Well,
she's
yeah, because it's a completely
mainly
different
purple, right?
palette. Yeah,
And
yeah.
she's the main character, and that's where I originally designed the background for. But the Warhogs, obviously, in this first episode, are the main villain. So you can't make one background make it get along with everybody. That's the thing. But I think using the lighting will help to kind of pop them off.
If you want to know the truth, the only band that's causing any sort of conflict with me is the
Yeah,
second one from the top.
this one
Yeah, because the
where you can see my
color, yeah, right
yeah,
where your mouse is, because the color is so similar to the brown of the
yeah.
warhogs. Like if that was just a little bit pushed it a little bit more in the direction of an orange or a yellow, I think that would just make for me I feel like in my mind it would make a difference.
So let's see here. I think this is just a tint, but I could be wrong. Let's see here. Actually, what I could do is just hang on. So I got this color here, and I just tweak it a little bit.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be like a whole change. Just shift in one direction or another.
Well, the thing is these are all built on. So way back when I first built this, like they were all built on gradients on top of each other.
Oh, interesting.
So that's a solid. But then if I go into this one might be half. Let me see. Where did I get that from? Okay, this one. Oh, it looks like it's solid. Okay, no, never mind. We're good.
Oh, all right. I love
This
problems
one.
that solve themselves.
This one is the one that's kind of an offshoot. This one is the one that's actually a gradient. I mean, well, not gradient, but a transparency.
Mm-hmm.
It's at the 40%. If I was to just change this color to, let's see, what do I want to change this to? Go with, now I'm just trying to wreck things now at this point. We'll go 100% there. Let me see what that looks like there. So that's pretty dark. So we will change that up a bit. Nope, too much the same. That helps a little bit.
Yeah,
I still got to pose a little bit, but yeah, that could work out better.
yeah. I think keeping in mind what the primary colors of the warhog are, and then just drifting away from those a little bit. I mean, that makes a huge difference. Like right there, yeah.
Yeah,
That looks great,
definitely.
actually. I mean, like, what is that? That was 20 minutes of work. I mean, that's incredible.
So this scene is almost kind of sort of done.
In a
That's
way, yeah.
that's animation speak for never done, but yeah, kind of sort of done. Good.
What is it? Great art is never finished, only abandoned.
I yeah. Well, I guess all I care about is just as long as they're moving and they look solid. I'm
Yeah, no,
happy.
I mean that looks fantastic. I mean, I feel like I'd want two or one or two, I guess, a little bit in the background, one more just to give it a real good sense of it.
Yeah, yeah, of
But I
course.
mean, just as something that you threw together as a test, I just it's remarkable at how quickly it comes alive.
Yeah, and then of course the animation themselves. These guys are all on 8 frames, but I was gonna. Part of me, what I wanted to. I'm debating whether I want to save that for next week, but I wanted to play with the hair on these guys a little bit. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
this 8 frames is only a rough. It was meant to be. I wanted to really kind of push with kind of adding a little bit of secondary motion to some of this stuff, just but really subtle. But is it? But then I think about it from an economic standpoint. Is it worth it for me to spend that little extra time? Well, yeah, probably because I get obsessive and OCD and perfectionist like with some of this stuff. And this is kind of the challenge that we have. And I think you have the same on your side. I'm sure you see it too. You just you could because we have unlimited budget, meaning it's just time. We could sit here and noodle stuff to death if we wanted to, But when's the point where we move on with our lives? And so for me, part of it is which is great working on this together is we if your eyeballs are seeing stuff and it's good, that's making me want to making me feel reassured that I can move on.
Yeah.
At least one of us is happy. So
I mean,
how I
like,
reaction to
yeah,
it.
right. Like we all have our own personal uh or I don't know. I'm trying to think of an idiom right now, and I'm drawing a blank. So I'll say it flatly. You're gonna have a far more critical eye towards this than I will, because this is where your expertise lies. But what I will say is that I, with as much going on in that scene, I don't know if I'm going to notice
Yeah,
a lot of secondary animation. Now, when the Warhog is the focal point of a scene, like at the Prickly Pear or in front of Mitchell's house, another hint towards Act Two, that kind of secondary motion I think is going to work really, really well because there's a single Warhog that is the primary antagonist of that scene, right?
yeah, yeah. That's true. Yeah, and scenes where it's a solo shot of just one character. There's more for your eye to look at. You don't have to take everything in one shot. You're just taking one particular character, and then that's a really good place to do extra cherry on top whipped cream type of stuff if you
Yeah,
want to, for
I just
sure.
it calls to mind in an imperfect way, but like if you think about Ren and Stimpy, which has this very very simple art style for the most part, but then they'll do for dramatic effect these hyper detailed,
Yes.
extreme close-ups, and
Yeah.
those were always just so incredibly effective to me. I mean, I was wow so young when that show came out. And I will never forget some of those close-ups on like Stimpy's eyes or something to that effect. It was really
Yeah.
impactful, given the contrast with the rest of the art style.
Yeah, I think there's other shows that I think there were Ramsey was one of the first to do that, but other shows follow suit and did the detail. I don't know what the term is, but the detail shot
Mm-hmm.
where they would spend a lot of time over rendering something and for comedic effect. It was really effective.
Oh, I
It was pretty.
agree. Yeah, I agree. And so maybe not to the extremes that Ren and Stimpy push it, because I think that would be outside of the scope of the art style that we're shooting for here.
Yeah,
But like, I think that's a great example in terms of opportunities for detail. Whereas a shot like this, there's so much motion going on already that you might cross the threshold of diminishing returns with a bunch of secondary animation. It might just become noise in the scene.
yeah, I'm 100% with you there. We will tackle that. We'll find ways to explore that. We'll probably talk about that in another episode. When I'm working on a solo shot, where I will probably do that. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
yet. I'm not. Depending on how much time is put into this particular shot. I don't know. I'm gonna try to be economical with my time and try to get it like quote unquote done, like the 75%. Like right now, to me, well, this is almost it's pretty much at 75 right now, but maybe I want to push another 5%, and then if it takes too long for me to do the secondary, I'll move on with my life
Okay.
and then
Yeah.
another shot. I think that's what I'll do. It helps to know that you're on board on your side of things, and so that's good for me. I am right now. Sorry, I'm half talking, half working here.
No, it's fine.
I wanted to try to do something else here, which is I'm trying to do a planar, the parallax effect to the background a little bit. So we got this background, then this guy. So that's just a BG. Then we have this guy and this guy. And we just have the mountain here. So now we can take this out. I'll take this guy out. We'll take this guy out for now. Okay. And I am going to remove the sky from this as well. And we'll place him down here. And lastly, we'll put in, let me see, did I make that a symbol of the cloud or did I not? Let's see. Nope, I did not. But I will draw another cloud instead. And this is a terrible looking cloud. It's almost embarrassing.
I was gonna say, like, I think I could do that cloud.
That's now considered 10% done. That cloud is only 10% done. Okay, fine, fine.
Oh, now that it's behind the horizon, now it's like jumped up to 15%.
Well, I have to hide it someplace. Man, oh man. Let's see. Between here. All right. And we'll make sure this guy lags behind a little bit. There we go. A little bit more of a planar effect. Can you see that on your side?
Yeah, I can definitely see it.
Let's just see. Yeah, we can't really tell here because it's cut off, but
yeah, maybe you need to want to.
But yeah,
I think the foreground cactus need to be on a third layer.
Yeah, and
but I love the cloud. I mean, like even with the 10% cloud, you get a much better sense of motion. I think it's great. Just having something for the mountain to occlude enhances it even a little bit more.
So this cactus right here is, if I was to actually have this in the actual shot, it would just get run over.
It might get run over them. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll probably just get.
Yeah, I think you could just get rid of that cactus entirely. I think you're right.
Yeah, but in general though, this shot is like I said, it's about 75% done. Like I said, the only thing really left to do, there's a few little tweaks I would want to do to it.
Mm-hmm.
There's plenty of other things to do. But imagine this in After Effects with the lighting that I've got. And, and maybe, like I said, I might touch on this next week, or maybe we'll move on to another subject because, I don't want to beat something to death for a couple weeks. We because of my because of my short attention span, I'm always kind of running all over the place. My what is it, ADD or whatever you want to call it. So I don't know. Next week we might go back to the croc townsperson. I don't know yet.
That's right, the crocodile that wears the gaiters.
Yeah, so we'll see. But for continuation from last week and where we're at today, I feel like we've made some headway here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the being able to create the null object in After Effects and then inherit the lighting parameters from that object is it's a huge win. What a great discovery. Good job on that. I mean, just from the standpoint of the amount of work that's going to save you. And,
Yeah. Anytime I can save myself work, I do give myself kudos. Yay, hooray.
And it gets you exactly the thing that we were talking about yesterday, which is that edge lighting, which acts as basically the outline, right? Like, so your art style doesn't have that kind of cartoony black outline by design, and this almost gives you a workaround in that regard, right?
Yeah. Because, like I said, there's plenty of shows that do have the flat shading and everything like that, but it comes down to a personal tasting because everything does tend to go flat, and there's nothing wrong with that decision. But I wanted to kind of make, when we do Calamity Jane, I wanted to kind of stand a little bit.
Well, I mean, I think you're trying to define your own art style here, so I think that that lighting that you've got really makes the Warhawks pop. And the one thing I would say is like, um, as far as we're concerned, if it as long as it's in service of the show, and it's not like all of a sudden a completely different art style, I say that I
Yeah.
think it's great. So
So I would say some success tonight,
yeah,
with where we're at. But yeah, I was excited to share this with you. This is like I said, I was working on this weekend, and I think we almost have a recipe that I might apply
cool.
through this show. It's not. It doesn't take too much work. I mean, there's obviously more work. But a lot of our shots are not going to have this group shot type of thing like these
Mm-hmm.
guys are. A
Right.
lot
I
of
mean,
the
this is definitely a special circumstance.
yeah, yeah. So this will be the most amount of work doing lighting would be in this instance. But a lot of our shots are all kind of a one shot or two shot characters, so that's it. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not
Mm-hmm.
that bad.
Cool.
So
Well, that is
yeah,
great. I think that's a really strong ending point for the week. So I'm going to go ahead and do our wrap up and remind everybody that we're doing updates. As I mentioned at the top of the episode, I just finished two major projects. So I will be hopefully getting back into my usual personal project update side of things. So look for those hopefully resuming, if not this Thursday, then next Thursday at the latest. And you can always check us out on calamityjane.rocks or just go directly to our Patreon site, patreon.com/calamityjane Adventure Hour, or you can find us on Facebook, the same Calamity Jane Adventure Hour. We post all of the links to our live streams there and all of our other updates as well. And as always, we'll see you Mondays, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Good night, everybody. James?
good night, everybody. Have a good week, and we'll catch you on the flip side next week.
That's right. Next week. All right. Night, everybody.